What's going on, everybody? Thanks for stopping by my channel. My name is Jason. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I retired from the Army in 2014, and I've got some time. I fish a lot, so I figured during my wife and kids and all my family and friends tell me all the time, start a YouTube channel, because I fish and I catch fish. So here it is, veteran angler. Mostly this channel is just going to be bass fishing here in northern Michigan on little lakes and stuff. But also this year I plan on getting into some tournament fishing, specifically kayak tournament fishing. However, as you see, this is not a kayak, it is a canoe. I currently don't own a kayak worthy, I would say, of tournament fishing. So for this first video, what we're gonna do is rig out my old 15.5 foot Pelican canoe into a tournament kayak fishing canoe. It's all the series, all the way from BASS, the top series, down to the little local Michigan one that I plan on fishing, allows for canoes to be used in kayak series. And I think with the bow mounted trolling motor, anchor wizard, some other things we're gonna add, maybe like a little casting platform in the middle to stand up on, get some elevation. I think that this could actually be a highly functioning, viable option for tournament fishing in kayak tournaments. Just from the length itself and the amount of rod storage and gear and stuff, weight really wouldn't be an issue like it is with some kayaks. And there will be coffee, probably a lot of coffee. Probably in every video. So first things first, we got to get this puppy into my basement, which is my workshop. Go back for my coffee and my gun, of course. Get this thing in here. You're gonna have to move. Alrighty. Chipmunk, you gotta go, Chippy. What are you doing, dude? Get on my basement. Go. No. Out. Alright, so apparently there's mice and chipmunks. Move my way oversized trolling motor for this project. It's gonna fit nicely. Perfect. Like a glove. Gotta go with what you got. And what I've got is a Michigan basement with super low ceilings, some scary electrical situations. It floods, there's mice, and there's absolutely many large spiders, along with who knows what other surprises, but I'm blessed to have it and I'm grateful, and I'm gonna make it work. So what we want to do first is figure out our mounting for our trolling motor. Because the front of the canoe here slightly bows up towards the bow, I'm gonna have to build the back side of whatever mount I build. It's gonna have to be built up so it's level and not coming up, because otherwise the trolling motor will be angled up and not leveled. The bracket needs to be on a parallel level plane with the keel of the boat, so that the trolling motor and the keel are sitting at complete 90-degree angle. Now how we get to that, that's another question, but we'll get there. Always do. And yes, I know this is 45-inch shaft, I think it is. Way too big for this application, but you go with what you got, and this is what I've got. And until I get another trolling motor and maybe a kayak or whatever, I'm gonna make this work, and it will work. Whoa, please don't fall. So you need to lock in and stand on the floor and support yourself. Like I said, obviously that shaft of that trolling motor is huge, but I'm going to be sitting about 10 feet away from it. It's a 15.5-foot canoe, so I'm going to be way back there at the back. I think it'd be like fishing around a second person sitting in front of the canoe. You know, you don't whack them in the head. Well, you try not to with your rod or your bait. So it's just gonna be a minor inconvenience. And my trolling motor, like I said, is the Minn Kota Power Drive V2. I do have the foot pedal, it's a foot pedal driven one. I think one really awesome thing about this is, so I got this plugged in. I'm all the way at the back of the boat, fishing, running it, whatever. And now I decide I want to move a mile or something to a new spot. Well, all I got to do is carry this back up to the front, spin my trolling motor around, put a small seat of some sort here, and now I can drive with a stern-mounted trolling motor rather than it being up front on the bow, because I know that not greatly, but it's definitely faster having the trolling motor mounted on the stern, on the back of the boat, than it is trying to drive a long distance with it mounted on the front. I don't pretend to know why, but I know for a fact that that's the case. So now I can drive the boat from either end, just haul this back and forth. I just got to remember it'll be reversed when I'm here. It'll be opposite directions because the head's spun all the way around facing backwards. But that could be pretty sweet, honestly. I guess we'll find out. I'm going to fish kayak tournaments out of my canoe with a bow-mounted trolling motor, or a stern-mounted, depending on which way you want to go. I have a pretty good idea how I want to do this. I'm going to use plywood, probably 3/4 inch and 1/2 inch, and laminate it together, make a super sturdy bow mount with laminated wood going across, screws, angle iron, or not angle iron, probably brackets, metal brackets, to really secure this in place, because it's one of the requirements that they specifically, most of the kayak fishing tournaments say on their websites. If you're using a canoe with a trolling motor, it must be safely affixed to the craft, which obviously, but I want to make sure that I do that really well, and it's obviously built sturdy so that they can't deny me or disqualify me from competing because I got some shoddy setup with my bow-mounted trolling motor on my canoe in a kayak tournament. That's the plan. That's what we're going to do. Let's get to it. First thing I want to do is get the center line of the boat. There. All right, let me show you what that rope does for me, as far as, not really most importantly, the center line. What it's doing is it's raising, it's showing me where level is or parallel is. I can slide this right underneath without even touching that line. Yeah, still up there. So whatever I build has to stick up that height off of there straight across to be level to the front, to be nice and level rather than angling up, like I said. And it's not a serious angle up under the bow, but there's enough of an angle that my trolling motor, if I mounted it, would be, you know, sitting up at an angle. I need it level. So I'm gonna have to build this up to make it level. I feel like hooking the vacuum and everything up, so I'm just gonna set my table saw up out here. Those both 8 inches, I think it was. Gonna cut that one off. Perfect. Measure twice, cut once, right? All right, so now we got our 3/4 inch base piece, 2 1/2 inch thick middle and top pieces. So now I got to work on these cross. It's gonna have a cross support here and one in the middle, and then this is pretty bulky, thick plastic. I'm gonna have a screw going straight through, a nice big bolt up front there. I'm gonna redo this piece. I don't like it. All right, clearly this is day 2 of this build. It's obviously going to be a multi-day process, which is fine. That's what happens when you get into stuff. You got to make changes. I think I ended at 4:30 this morning at the first, up to the video up till now that you watched. I ended with saying that I was going to redo this piece that I had made. I didn't like it. Had it down in the rail there. So I redid it with a different version of ends to fit down in between the gunnels, and didn't like that one. I decided to change my whole design of this. Rather than doing the vertical, I just decided I'm going to lay them flat on top like that, run screws down or bolts down through, and I got this front piece started. Something, because this is pinching down as it comes forward and it's tightening down on this, I had to get out my belt sander, grind this down, because as it goes forward on the boat, it gets tighter. As you can see as I slide it up, the angles of the gunnel and the gunnel cap, and then this coming down and all, it's pinching together. So I still got to grind some more. You can still see there's a little gap. I got to grind some more off the front there to get it to lay flush. And I'm going to have to do it back here as well. All right, now we grind, or sand, or whatever you want to call it. And then we start on the back one. That's gonna work, I think. All right, we're almost there. Got each of these individual parts glued and screwed together. All that's left is to paint them and then assemble them together, put the base, mount the base for the trolling motor on, and then affix it to the boat itself. And then we're good to go out on the lake and test this puppy out. Now we paint. really want to use high gloss, but what I have, and I don't want to use brown. So black high gloss it is. Not really going for looks, I'm going for protection and durability, and weatherproofing is the main thing. It's a perfect day to paint. I'm gonna put it on extra thick. Now the top. Hopefully tomorrow we mount this, get this all screwed together, mount it, and we're out testing. Which, stick around to the end of the video because we'll be on the water with this. All right, Mo Frickies, it's day 3 of this build for me. Another Army shirt from a unit I did serve in, and so I want to do real briefly here in this video is just give you a quick background of my military service, just so you know, because after all, this is Veteran Angler YouTube channel, and both being a veteran and an angler are a huge part of my life, probably bigger than either should be. So first off, in I was the late 90s, I was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I had a buddy, well, he was a roommate of mine, and that dude would call everybody Mo Fricky, like everything, 100 times a day. What are you Mo Frickies up to? What's going on, Mo Fricky? I have it burned into my head the thousands of times that dude would call me Mo Fricky. So going forward from here on, if I call you Mo Frickies, it's in honor of my roommate, Sergeant First Class Todd Harris. He died in Afghanistan in 2010, and just a little legacy of his. 2 decades later, I can still hear his voice calling me Mo Fricky. I miss him, and I'd love to hear him call me Mo Fricky one more time. So, first shirt I was wearing at the start of this video was a Ranger Tab t-shirt. I graduated from Ranger School in 1998. I was class 798. I went there from, like I said, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where I was in 3rd Battalion, 327th Infantry Regiment, Bastogne Bulldogs. But I wasn't in Ranger Regiment. I was just a regular Army infantry grunt. I was actually 11 Charlie, an E4 specialist, 11 Charlie at the time that I went to Ranger School, before I reclassed later on to just straight 11 Bravo infantry. So I went from Fort Campbell out to the 25th Infantry Division in Hawaii. Out there I was in 121 Infantry Gimlets. If you know, you know. I got married in Hawaii, had my first kid while I was there, and then September 11th happened, and man, life got crazy for a long time. From Hawaii, I went to the 3rd Infantry Division. Then I had a small break in service, and then I joined the Michigan National Guard just to get my feet wet again, get back in the game. Then I went straight back on active duty and got sent back to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And that time I was in 1st Battalion, 506th Infantry, Currahee. From there, I got stationed up in Alaska on Fort Wainwright, and I was part of the Northern Warfare Training Center. I was a mountaineering instructor and a Arctic and cold weather survival instructor. From Alaska, the Army decided to send me to DC, and in DC I was assigned to headquarters special activities, did some different things there. Then from there I got assigned up to Fort Drum, New York, the 10th Mountain Division, and that's where I eventually retired out of the Army. I'm very proud of my military service and the things I did. I don't think I'm special. I didn't do any more than anybody else, any less. I just served my country, and I'm proud of that. I wear the scars from that service, and fishing is my therapy, and Jesus is my Savior, and I'm not ashamed to admit any of that. All right, Mo Frickies, it's time to finish this project, get it on the water, and test it out. Let's go. I drew a little diagram, and I went and pieced out every bolt, nut, washer, everything that I need, hopefully, to firmly affix that to the bow of the canoe. So that's where we're at, and that's what we're doing now. All right, this is when centering all this is going to be really important, and the centering line is going to come in handy. Just mark center here and here and here. Run it to the exact same spot on the front of the bow that it comes from the stern, and I have the center line of the boat, more or less. Now we drill and screw. All right. Let's clean up, slap this motor on here, because we're done. Base. Nope. Oh, come on, people. Mo Frickies, look at that. Freaking did it. Just put a bow mounted trolling motor on my canoe. We're ready to test this puppy. Let's go. This is awesome. I'm stoked. Ain't going anywhere. We got us a tournament kayak fishing canoe. All right, I'm gonna make this puppy legal. I'm gonna put these stickers. All right, she's legal. All that's left is to free Willie and go to the lake. All right, out the door. All right, let's battery holder, and then it just pushes it down, holds that in place. Battery will sit right there. Done. All right, let's load this up, mo frickies. Putting the heavy end in first, obviously. This is gonna stick out a mile. And as you can see, that's an issue. I can't be driving hour, 2 hours, heck, even probably a half hour away from my house with it sticking out that far. Fortunately, my test lake is like 4 minutes away. But we're gonna have to address this because I don't want to haul a trailer. And I got a plan already for that. Man, I better take a rod with me, because what kind of a test would it be without a fishing pole? For one thing is I want to test out stability of this platform, so I want to be able to stand up and cast and just see what that's like as well. Still got all my fly fishing stuff in here. Rods and all my waders and everything. I'm a huge springtime and fall time steelhead and salmon fly fisherman as well. You might see that a little on this channel. Not all bass fishermen are into that kind of, steelhead fishing or fly fishing. And not all fly fishermen are into bass fishing, believe me. I wasn't. All right, maybe 2 rods. All right, let's do this. Let's go. Show you how this fits up in here. Pretty freaking handy, if I do say so myself. If you've stuck around this long, mo frickies, I really appreciate you. Let's get it in the water and test this puppy out. Wow. It's a windier day to do this, I think. Not quite windy enough. All right, well, stability test number 1 is, can I walk to the front and put the trolling motor down without falling out? Oh, whoa. That wasn't very stable. That's a lot of weight up high like that. In that position, in the up and stowed position, paddling it fine. I mean, it's a canoe. It was meant to be paddled. It's not like it was a tournament kayak that can be paddled if needed. Walking all the way down to that end and getting out there with the trolling motor hanging out the end, that was sketchy. I'm gonna have to unlock my trolling motor, get it angled down, and then tied off back here, back to me with a rope, so I can just stay back here and lower it into the water rather than having to walk down there, because that's a lot of weight. That can be pulled like that. Oh, that's how that's gonna have to be launched. I cannot walk all the way down to this end and reach out and pop my motor release. Standing down here with the battery and trolling motor, I mean, I guess to some degree that should be obvious. Launch number 2. There's nothing. Yep, she locked in down there, I saw that. Alright. Feel like we're moving pretty good here. And it's moving us along. I still don't have it. There we go. Full power. 10 on the power scale. Yeah, I really got to do something about the position of this pedal. It's not optimal for sitting in this stock seat anyways. But we're cooking. Sorry about the wind noise. I am going to do a test video out here fishing with this neck mount and just casting and just seeing how all that works, because I've never fished with a camera on a neck mount, or actually any kind of mount. I've never fished with a camera at all. So there's that. The old Lose American Hero speed stick. Spoiler alert, I don't think I have a rod and reel combo that cost me over $110. And I fish with, I think I'm up to 9 rods now, 8 or 9 that I usually have with me. And I catch a lot of fish, and I don't need a $300 reel and a $500 rod. Heck, my whole rod collection costs about that much. $800 total. Honestly, rod and reels. So I'm going to show you guys that you don't need that, especially if you want to get into tournament fishing. Free canoe, $300 marketplace motor, and then cheap combos. Really all you need. Spend your money on quality line and other stuff. All right, that was first cast out of the competition canoe. Can I drive while standing up? Whoa, way too high power. That about bucked me over the back. But it's not one of my main, what I consider, I fish here and I catch a lot of fish here, but it's not a main spot for me. All right, so there's some things that need adjusted, honestly, some tweaks to the system, but this is gonna get me out tournament fishing. I gotta be honest, I don't know about a casting platform. I don't know if the stability is as great as I thought it would be. At least one thing I was correct about is the distance I am from me to that trolling motor, the height, or the ridiculousness of how big it is, doesn't really affect me, other than maybe if I had a fish on up front, but I can just lift it up over. That's enough of a test. Let's head back. I want to try sitting there facing this way with the motor behind me and see if that feels any faster. Just got to remember that everything's gonna be reversed. It's actually working pretty well. I just have it turned around facing backwards, and now the back has become the front. Honestly, that worked quite well. We got here pretty quick. Good day, figuring everything out, testing out the canoe. All right, Mo Frickies, thanks so much for tuning into my channel and watching to the end of the video. The test of my tournament fishing canoe, my kayak tournament fishing canoe. Still some modifications and tweaks I'm going to make to it, and you'll see that in a future video, or you'll just see them while I'm out fishing in my first tournament, which is in 2 days. Coming up right after this video drops, I'm going to have another video of a rack I'm building for the back of my truck so I can haul this thing more efficiently, rather than, as you saw, the 8 feet or whatever it was that it hangs out the back of the bed of my truck. That I don't even know if that's legal. So I'm going to build a rack to haul it, because I don't really want to trailer it, because I do plan on going further, fishing other tournaments, not just the local Topwater Series here in Michigan. I plan on going to fishing the Kayak Adventure Series as well, and there's tournaments in Ohio and Pennsylvania and Virginia. So I'm going to have to travel a fair distance to some of these tournaments, and I can't have this hanging out half the canoe, 7.5, 8 feet out of the back of my truck. And like I said, I don't want a trailer that far. So I'm going to build a rack. This one's going to be pretty sweet, so stick around, check that out. I'd really appreciate if you would subscribe to my channel, and until next time, later.